Here's some first ride impressions of the Polygon Siskiu D7. I have another video of the initial unboxing, but now I have a couple of rides on the bike and have some thoughts on it that I'll share. It's a little bit dirty, a little bit dusty, so I can prove that I've ridden it. Hard to see in the video maybe, but I have a couple of rides on it. So I'm going to start with the downsides. Right off the bat, I changed tires. The tires that it came with, I've never ridden before, but I have a personal preference for Vittoria tires. So I swapped them out for my personal preference. They're the same size, same width. And just wanted to have the same ride feel on the contacts. So put my tires on it. The tires that came on the bike are actually wire bead, which is not surprising, I guess. The tires that I have on the bike now are folding, so they're a bit lighter. So right off the bat, I lighten the bike on day one before the ride. The next kind of complaint that I have here is the dropper post. I have it slammed all the way to the frame, and with the 150 mil travel at its highest point is basically my limit. So this is a size medium 27 fiber, and I am about 5'7", and it's stretching me out. It's at my limit. I can ride it, but it's at the limit. So of course I could drop the dropper down just a hair when I ride, but that's a little bit of a pain if I'm fully extending it back up and then need to drop it down again. So it's usable, but it's a stretch. Okay, the next thing that I'll complain about, which is a minor complaint, is the handlebar width. Just so you know, the handlebars are super wide out of the box. I have to cut mine down significantly, which is normal, but just a heads up that you might need to do that. Haven't done it yet, but I'm sure it'll be a huge improvement once I get those cut down. The next complaint really is about just the weight of the bike in general. This is not a light bike, not surprisingly, but even for down country, cross country standards, or even trail bike standards, I would say this is a little bit on the heavy side. I am not surprised by that at all. It's not built to be a super light bike, and of course for the price, it is what it is. However, that doesn't mean it can't be lightened up a bit, and the first thing that I'm considering doing is replacing the cassette. It is a dinner plate, and I'm sure it's a boat anchor. It's an 1151, which is a super wide range. It's great for the wide range, but it is a Dior level cassette. And I looked up the weight specs on that thing, and I think it's something like close to 700 grams. So it's a boat anchor, and you can feel that weight on the back of the bike. I mean, if you just pick the bike off the ground or try to bunny hop it over a log or anything, you can feel that weight back there. So I'm considering swapping the cassette out. There are no SLX or XT level cassettes in the same range, so I'd have to go to a smaller large cog, but I think I'd also consider dropping the chainring down a size, which would give me basically the same gear ratio. So if I drop to a 30 tooth chainring and 46, I believe, is the cassette, the large cog in the rear would give me about the same gear ratio, but a significant weight savings there. So that might be the first thing to get swapped out for an upgrade and weight savings. All right, last kind of complaint that I would say is the color, I guess, although that's super subjective. I'm not a huge fan of yellow, and it's even hard to tell in this video, but the actual color in real life is almost neon. So if you look at it on the website, it looks yellow on the website, but it's almost like a yellowish green neon in real life. So it's growing on me. I don't dislike it. It's just not necessarily my color choice of preference. And of course, only the top tube and the head tube top end of the bike are that color. The rest of the bike is black and gray. So, you know, it looks good though. The bike does look good. It's just not my personal color preference. All right, so that's a bunch of negatives. Let's talk about the positives. The bike rides great. For 120 mil travel front and rear, it is very smooth. It's very nice to ride. I think once I get some tweaks done for my personal preferences, like the handlebar that I mentioned, I'm also going to swap out the seat just for a saddle of my preference. Although the included saddle that is Entity branded is nice. It's a nice quality saddle. It is relatively comfortable. However, I just have a personal preference for another saddle that I have that I've been running on another bike. So I'll swap that out, but that's not even really a complaint. I expected to do that. But generally speaking, so far I'm pretty happy with it. A couple of rides in, no upgrades or changes yet other than the tires that I mentioned. And I like it. Overall, so far so good. Hopefully it'll just get better as I swap out parts and make some upgrades. Oh, one more thing I almost forgot to mention. The bottle cage. I don't know if this is specific to this size frame or the two smaller size frames that they have available. It was hard to fit a bottle cage in the spot that's available and have the bottle go all the way down. It actually hits the frame. So the first cage that I tried that I happen to have available sat very low down in the frame and did not have enough clearance here for the bottle to go all the way in. So I tried this cage that I happen to have available, and right now I don't have a full water bottle in it. It's like a toolkit bottle, and it does not go all the way down. There's a gap right here of about, I'd say, you know, a good 1/4 inch, if not more, and it hits the frame. So eventually I'll have to find a cage that'll fit, but it seems to me like either the frame mounts needed to be just a bit higher, 1/4 inch higher, but then there wouldn't be much clearance between the top of an actual full-size water bottle and the shock. So just a heads up to be aware of. Otherwise, all good. The bike rides great. It shifts great right out of the box. I didn't even have to adjust the cables or the shifting yet. Brakes feel good. Suspension feels good. Otherwise, all good. So check back with me in a week or so. If I make some updates, upgrades, I'll make another video and tell you how it rides and how much weight I might have saved. And check out my walk around video.